February 18th, 2017, Saturday of the 6th week in Ordinary Time.
A reading from the letter to the Hebrews.
Brothers and sisters, faith is the realization of what is hoped for and evidence of things not seen. Because of it, the ancients were well attested. By faith, we understand that the universe was ordered by the Word of God, so that what is visible came into being through the invisible. By faith, Abel offered to God a sacrifice greater than Cain's. Through this, he was attested to be righteous, God bearing witness to his gifts, and through this, though dead, he still speaks. By faith, Enoch was taken up so that he should not see death, and he was found no more, because God had taken him. Before he was taken up, he was attested to have pleased God. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For anyone who approaches God must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who seek him. By faith, Noah, warned about what was not yet seen, with reverence built an ark for the salvation of his household. Through this, he condemned the world and inherited the righteousness that comes through faith. The word of the Lord.
Responsorial Psalm. The response is,
I will praise your name forever, Lord. Every day will I bless you, and I will praise your name forever and ever. Great is the Lord and highly to be praised. His greatness is unsearchable. I will praise your name forever, Lord. Generation after generation praises your works and proclaims your might. They speak of the splendor of your glorious majesty and tell of your wondrous works. I will praise your name forever, Lord. Let all your works give you thanks, O Lord, and let your faithful ones bless you. Let them discourse of the glory of your kingdom and speak of your might. I will praise your name forever, Lord.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Jesus took Peter, James, and John and led them up a high mountain apart by themselves. And he was transfigured before them, and his clothes became dazzling white, such as no fuller on earth could bleach them. Then Elijah appeared to them along with Moses, and they were conversing with Jesus. Then Peter said to Jesus in reply, Rabbi, it is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. He hardly knew what to say. They were so terrified. Then a cloud came, casting a shadow over them. Then from the cloud came a voice. This is my beloved Son. Listen to him. Suddenly, looking around, the disciples no longer saw anyone, but Jesus alone with them. As they were coming down from the mountain, he charged them not to relate what they had seen to anyone, except when the Son of Man had risen from the dead. So they kept the matter to themselves, questioning what rising from the dead meant. Then they asked him, Why do the scribes say that Elijah must come first? He told them, Elijah will indeed come first and restore all things. Yet how is it written regarding the Son of Man that he must suffer greatly and be treated with contempt? But I tell you that Elijah has come, and they did to him whatever they pleased, as it is written of him. The Gospel of the Lord.
February 18th, Saturday of the 6th week in Ordinary Time. The first reading comes from Hebrews 11, 1-7. This passage comes towards the end of the letter to the Hebrews, in which the author of this letter gives a catalog of those who have lived lives of faith. And his point is that they lived lives of faith, they didn't see the fulfillment of the promise. Well, we see that Abel offers a sacrifice that was greater than Cain's. He was righteous. Enoch walked with God and did not see death. We don't know exactly what that meant. It's a rather ambiguous phrase. But it is the idea that Enoch in some way didn't die. In fact, Enoch becomes one of three figures in the Old Testament who are seen as apocalyptic figures, that they would return to the earth to reveal the secrets of heaven because they were there. Enoch, Moses, and Elijah. Remember how Moses died and was buried by God himself? Remember how Elijah went up to the heavens in a fiery chariot? And then we hear about Noah, who built an ark for the salvation of his household and trusted in God's promise. The Gospel is from Mark 9, 2-13. This is the story of the Transfiguration. Jesus takes Peter, James, and John, the three great apostles who always accompany Jesus when something important is happening, up a high mountain. Traditionally, we say this is Mount Tabor, although the name of the mountain is not mentioned. He's transfigured. He's whiter than is humanly possible. This is a sign of the radiance of God. And Elijah and Moses appear. Elijah, a prophet, Moses, the lawgiver. Jesus is the fulfillment of the law and the prophets. Peter's confused and said, "Let me build 3 tents. Remember the tent of meeting where the Ark of the Covenant was kept? This is the idea that we should dwell here. But Peter really doesn't know what to say, and a cloud covers them. Cloud, remember that God appeared in the form of fire by night and a cloud by day during the Exodus experience. The cloud was a sign of the supernatural, of the transcendence of God. And from that cloud comes a voice, "This is my beloved Son, listen to him." That God the Father gives witness to Jesus being his Son. Well, as they're coming down the mountains after this is all over, and notice that it does have to end, just like our numinous experience, our experience of the presence of God. Those experiences tend not to last very long. While we're praying, we feel the presence of God, and then the phone rings or the dog barks, and we have to go back to real life. Likewise for the disciples, they had to go back to real life because this was a prefiguration so that the disciples might know who Jesus truly was. And yet Jesus accepted his death on the cross. In fact, Jesus on the way down says the Son of Man has to rise from the dead. But first, Elijah must come. Now, who is Elijah? He's the one who's preparing the way for the day of the Lord. Elijah, in fact, has come, according to what Jesus says. He's speaking about John the Baptist. It's not that John the Baptist is the reincarnation of Elijah, but rather he plays the role of Elijah in preparing the day of the Lord, preparing for the witness that Jesus would give, which was the dawning of the day of the Lord, the dawning of God's kingdom upon the earth. And may God bless us.